We are here with Kate Johnson. And Kate, today you have offered your time to talk to our audience in regard to a subject that is very close to my heart. So, welcome to Remarkable Conversations with me, Maria Semple. And this is a new initiative, an initiative that I commenced over 10 years ago when I wrote my book called Everyday Stories from 10 Remarkable Women. And these were conversations with everyday women from my country of origin, Venezuela, and they told us how they overcame obstacles that they perceived in their environment. They share about their identity. They also told other women what will be the limitations that they can't actually overcome. And based on that, for many, many years, I kept putting it off and off and off until I decided one day, well, the best way to redefine your future is to create it. And this is what I am here. So, Kate, for you, from battling addiction to becoming a beacon to prevent suicide, this has turned your life experience to a mission of service, which is lovely. And I want you to tell us more about it. You wear many hats, and you mentioned in your LinkedIn profile that you are a passionate advocate, you are a podcast host, and you are a dedicated volunteer, which is a beautiful life of service as well. So, in this conversation, I would like for us to explore your journey. It's a remarkable journey, as I will also feel that many of our audience will identify with. And I want us to, um, tune in into your future self that will thank yourself today of what we are both creating, because today many of our audience will watch this conversation, but you and I are also creating a digital legacy for people beyond today, and many years to come will watch this conversation in the YouTube channel, unless YouTube decides to um, close its doors. So I want you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Yes, hi Maria. Thank you so much for being with me today. My name is Kate Johnson. I am born and bred in Newcastle, New South Wales. I guess I've really changed my life in the last 4 years. I battled for a long time with alcohol addiction and mental illness. I guess it all goes back to my childhood. I lost a family member to suicide when I was 13 years old, and that really shaped my thinking around death and the fact that people could choose that path, and it was really confusing, and I didn't really understand it. And I think it really shook me, and to be that young and try to absorb what was happening around me with like my parents' grief and my family's grief. It was a confusing time. And I think from a young age, I then started to question what life was about and what we're here for. And that led to me sort of having to see a lot of counselors when I was young and being treated for depression. I actually left school early because I was quite unwell. And the drinking started in my teens as well. And that just evolved into by the time I was 18, I was drinking every day. And then I did a lot of traveling in my 20s. And so it was sort of an accepted thing to be drinking in the daytime in Europe and living that kind of lifestyle. I was just the party girl. That was my identity. It was something I wore like a badge of honor, like how much I could actually drink and party and how many days I can go for. I was almost like proud of myself in some way. And it all came crashing down when I was about 27. I was hospitalized off the back of a hypomanic state, um, where I was living quite an elevated state, and I was trying to sustain a lot of things. And I think when you're in that manic state, I started to think, wow, this is amazing. This is how people must live all the time. And I'd just been living on a lower plane. And I thought, wow, I'm feeling really good. I was trying to do 50 things at once, coming up with new ideas. I was studying. And then it all came crashing down one day when I was at work, and I actually had to close the restaurant and leave. And I was sent to hospital where I stayed for about a month, and they diagnosed me with type 2 bipolar. So it was a very difficult time because, in being in hospital and being confronted with mental illness and being around other people that are quite mentally ill as well. Um, but to come out with a diagnosis, I guess, in a positive way, my medication could be selected based on my diagnosis, so things could start to pan out. And I was well for a few years, and then I fell pregnant and got quite unwell during pregnancy, and then again after pregnancy. I did stop drinking when I was pregnant, but I started quite soon again after. And during maternity leave, I was drinking in the day again and drinking quite a bit. By the time my son was 10 months old, I was back in hospital. This was the first time that alcohol sort of came up, why I was in hospital. And then for the next 8 years of, I guess, my son's life, I was in and out of hospital, in and out of sobriety, going to AA, not going to AA, and just a constant vicious cycle of hospitalization, get out, be okay for a couple of weeks, start drinking again, go downhill again, hospitalization. And then that all came to a head, and I had decided that I would take my own life. It was a really dark and lonely place to be, even though I had a lot of people around me. When you make the decision, you think you're doing the right thing for everybody else. You think it's going to be better for those people. I thought it would be better for my son. I thought it would be better for my partner if they didn't have to live with me anymore. Um, and then luckily I had a very good GP, and she put me into hospital straight away. And I actually did 10 rounds of electroconvulsive therapy, which is very humane these days. Um, but it really helped, and it really shifted something in me. And then I did still battle with drinking for probably another 8 months after that. And then I went into detox. Then I went into rehab, had one relapse about 4 months out of rehab, and then had relapse for about 3 weeks. And then one morning, just woke up, had a few drinks. Then I ran out of alcohol and I was stressing out, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I looked so terrible, and my teeth were stained red from the red wine I'd been drinking, and I just looked like a nightmare, and I couldn't believe my life had come to this. And I went straight up to hospital, and they kept me for the day, gave me some Valium, and sent me home. And I woke up the next morning and never touched a drink again. And I don't know what it was about that day. I think I was very close to losing my family. I was very close to losing my job. I'd isolated myself from everybody, and I just realized I couldn't do it anymore. And um, it's the first couple of months, I don't really remember much. I think it's just a battle for survival and a battle hour by hour not to pick up a drink. And you have to go through that. You have to just power through that, build resilience. Cravings are coming. You've really got to fight. And sometimes it's not hour by hour, and it's literally minute by minute that you've got to fight and make the decision to stay sober. So it's a choice that I make every single day, when I get up and start my day, and when I put my head on that pillow at night. It's a choice that I make to stay sober. Um, so alcoholism is very lonely, but it's also it's a very selfish. I was very selfish. I put alcohol before everything else in my life, before my family, before my job, before myself. And I realized that the opposite of that is I need to start showing up for other people and being there for other people. And I think that's where people say the opposite of addiction is connection. And you've really got to get out there and find your people. And I did that through volunteering. So I started small. I started at my son's school, and then I slowly started building different pockets in the community of people that I could serve and help. And then my volunteering actually led to a new job offer with the Suicide Prevention Network. So I was a lived experience volunteer for them. I had a really great job. I was in a really good marketing role. But I just couldn't say no to have the opportunity to get paid to do what I'm passionate about. And I'm so fortunate for that. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 9 months is raising awareness, doing community events, projects, just trying to instigate conversation, really. I think that's the most important part of my job. It's not, so I'm out every weekend at markets and events, selling merchandise, doing all that, but it's not about the sales. It's about being there for the community and then being able to walk past me, see the mental health signs, and just come over and have a chat. And that's the best part of my job is just the people I meet and the stories I hear and the fact that if you can just listen to someone, if you can just be that ear for someone, it can make such a difference. They did some research and it takes an 8-minute conversation to help someone. So that's 8 minutes of your day to ring a friend and say, how are you? And an 8-minute conversation can completely change somebody's day around. So
Yeah,
that's what I always keep in mind. Yeah.
oh, wow, thank you. It's you have shared so much of pivotal moments and through your life.